A very good evening to you and welcome to Idea TV News at 9. I am Cynthia Bassi. Let's take a look at the headlines. NIN CAC numbers to serve as tax identifiers from 2026, says FIRS. Guinea launches TRÉSOR Pay to digitize state fees and boost revenue collection. YANGO expands fellowship program to 4 more African countries. SANI signs 985.9 billion naira 2026 KADUNA budget. Education gets biggest share. And away from Africa, Call of Duty co-creator Vince ZAMPELLA dies in California car crash. In business, South Africa expects 5% drop in wheat imports as local output improves. A lastly, sport Tanzania coach aims to contain OSIMHEN as AFCON Group C clash with Nigeria looms. Now the news in full. The Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) has announced that from January 2026, Nigerians will no longer need a separate tax identification number, as the National Identification Number (NIN) will automatically serve as the tax ID for individuals. The clarification was issued as part of a public awareness campaign on the new tax laws following concerns about requirements for tax IDs in certain financial and commercial transactions. Under the new framework, registered businesses will also use their Corporate Affairs Commission (CAC) registration numbers as their official tax identifiers. According to the FIRS, the provision is contained in the Nigerian Tax Administration Act (NTAA), which comes into force in 2026. While the requirement for a tax ID has existed since the Finance Act of 2019, the service said the NTAA strengthens and harmonizes the system by unifying all existing federal and state tax identification numbers into a single identifier. The FIRS explained that the reform is designed to simplify taxpayer identification, eliminate duplication, and close loopholes that enable tax evasion. It stressed that no fiscal card is required as the tax ID is simply the unique NIN or CAC number linked to an individual or company. The service urged Nigerians to ignore misinformation surrounding the policy, noting that the objective is to improve efficiency, transparency, and fairness in the tax administration while ensuring that all taxable income earners contribute appropriately to government revenue. Now, Guinea has officially launched TRÉSOR Pay, a digital platform designed to streamline the dematerialize the payment of administrative fees and charges owed to the state. Rolled out on the 22nd of December in Conakry, the initiative is part of broader reforms aimed at modernizing public finance management, improving access to government services, and strengthening domestic revenue mobilization. Authorities say the platform will reduce long queues, cut travel costs for citizens, and improve transparency in public payments. According to Economy and Finance Minister Morana Soma, TRÉSOR Pay follows a presidential directive focused on enhancing service delivery and curbing revenue leakages. The platform allows users to make payments directly via mobile money alongside existing payment channels, ensuring faster access to funds for the state while reducing fraud risks across the collection chain. Built-in traceability features are also expected to limit informal practices and improve accountability in treasury operations. The launch comes amid low financial inclusion in Guinea, estimated at around 30%, but with rapidly growing mobile money usage. By leveraging digital payments, the government hopes to expand access to administrative services, particularly for citizens in rural and underserved areas. Over time, TRÉSOR Pay is expected to improve the collection of non-tax revenues, shorten processing times, and support wider reforms in economic governance, transparency, and budget efficiency. Still in Africa, technology company YANGO Group has expanded its YANGO Fellowship Program to 4 more African countries, which are Ghana, Ethiopia, Mozambique, and Senegal, following an initial rollout in Zambia and Côte d'Ivoire. The program is aimed at strengthening scientific and digital skills among young people across the continent. The fellowship targets students aged 18 to 25 studying science and technology disciplines with a focus on practical application of skills. Participants receive support to develop projects with local impact alongside workshops and guidance for professionals in the technology sector. From 2026, YANGO plans to create a continent-wide network of fellows to promote collaboration across borders. YANGO Group Chief Commercial Officer Adeniyi Adebayo said the program is designed to support young African talents with mentorship, resources, and knowledge. The initiative seeks to address skills gaps in sub-Saharan Africa, where millions of STEM professionals are needed and access to quality digital training remains limited. Now, in another news, Kaduna State Governor SANI has signed the 2026 appropriation bill into law, with education receiving the highest allocation of 25% of the 985.9 billion naira budget. The governor said the budget reflects his administration's commitment to consolidating recent gains while laying a stronger foundation for inclusive and sustainable growth. According to the breakdown, 698.9 billion naira, representing 70.9%, is earmarked for capital expenditure to drive infrastructure development, economic expansion, and improve service delivery, while recurrent spending stands at 287 billion naira, or 29.1%. In addition to education, infrastructure and rural transformation also received 25%, health got 15%, while agriculture and food security were allocated 11.65%. Governor SANI said the budget tied to consolidation of transformation for inclusive development prioritizes grassroots development with 100 million naira allocated to each ward for community-driven projects. He added that the budget introduces no new loans and reflects fiscal discipline, noting that 114.9 billion naira has already been paid in debt servicing as the state focuses on stability, accountability, and improved quality of life for residents. We go on a quick break. The news continues when we are back.
Number 8. Self-healing materials. Materials that repair themselves aren't just science fiction anymore. Researchers at the University of Manchester developed a self-healing aerospace material that can autonomously patch small cracks in aircraft components. In 2023, LG Chem showcased self-healing coatings that restore scratches on car surfaces within minutes under heat. The potential extends to consumer electronics, where cracked phone screens may eventually fix themselves without a trip to the repair shop. Markets and Markets estimates the self-healing materials industry could grow to over $4 billion by 2027, with applications in automotive, aerospace, and infrastructure leading the way.
Good to know you are still there. If you're just joining, this is Idea TV News at 9. Now the rest of the stories. Away from Africa, Vince ZAMPELLA, a co-creator of the iconic Call of Duty series, has died in a car crash in California at age 55. The crash involved a Ferrari that caught fire on a Los Angeles highway, killing both occupants. Electronic Arts, which owns Respawn Entertainment that ZAMPELLA co-founded, confirmed his death and described it as an unimaginable loss. ZAMPELLA, alongside longtime collaborators Jason West and Grant Collier, launched Call of Duty in 2003, a franchise that has sold over 500 million copies and made Microsoft's Activision one of the most profitable gaming companies. He also contributed to other popular games, including Medal of Honor, Titanfall, and Apex Legends, earning a reputation as a visionary in the gaming world. Industry peers and fans mourned his passing, praising his dedication to the player experience and innovation in game design. A live-action Call of Duty film is currently in production, marking the ongoing legacy of his work in shaping modern gaming culture. And now moving to business news, South Africa is projected to import approximately 1.74 million tons of wheat during 2025-2026 marketing season, representing a 5% decline from the previous year. The reduction is largely attributed to improved domestic production, which is expected to rise by 3% compared with the prior season. Key wheat-growing provinces, including Northern Cape, Free State, Eastern Cape, and Limpopo, are reporting better harvest prospects, boosting confidence that local output can meet a larger share of national demand. AGBI's chief economist Wandile Shilobbo highlighted that the improved domestic harvest would reduce reliance on imports and help stabilize the local wheat market. The expected increase in domestic production is underpinned by an expansion in the total wheat planted area. Farmers allocated an additional 12,000 hectares to wheat cultivation in 2025, bringing the total planted area to 573,000 hectares. However, despite its growth, production remains below the historical peak of 2.28 million tons reached in 2021. Since then, South Africa's wheat sector has struggled to return to its previous highs, facing challenges from climate variability, rising input costs, and infrastructure limitations. The Crop Estimates Committee (CEC) reports that these factors continue to influence productivity through improved agronomic practices and favorable weather are supporting the current season's forecast. Lower imports are expected to positively impact South Africa's food import bill, which reached nearly $537.8 million in 2024. By producing more wheat locally, the country can reduce exposure to global market fluctuations and import costs, contributing to greater food security and economic resilience. Industry analysts note that sustained investment in domestic wheat production, along with strategic support for farmers, could help South Africa achieve a more self-sufficient and stable wheat sector. The government and private sector stakeholders are closely monitoring the season's outcomes to plan for supply, pricing, and policy interventions in the months ahead. And finally, in sport, Tanzania coach Miguel Gamondi has outlined tactical plans to curb Nigeria's attack on their opening Group C match of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations at the Complex Sportif d'Office. Facing a Nigerian side led by striker Victor OSIMHEN, Gamondi stressed the need to focus not only on OSIMHEN but also on other key attackers like Chukwueze and Lookman. According to him, we must be aware of our position on the pitch, he said, emphasizing that team discipline will be critical to countering Nigeria's front line. Gamondi, who took charge of the Taifa Stars just a month before the tournament, highlighted the challenge of Nigeria's overall squad quality. The smallest mistake can be punished by these types of players, he warned. To strengthen his side, he will rely on experienced players, including Captain Mbwana Samata of Greek club PAOK and forwards Simon Msuva, who could earn his 100th international cap in Tuesday's match. Defender Mohamed Hussein and young Haji Mnoga are also expected to play key roles in shoring up the team's defense. The upcoming encounter marks only the second AFCON meeting between Nigeria and Tanzania, coming 45 years after their first clash in 1980 when Nigeria won 3-1 en route to claiming the tournament title. Their most recent meetings were in the 2017 AFCON qualifiers, ending with a goalless draw in Dar es Salaam and the 1-0 victory for Nigeria in Uyo. Gamondi's pre-match strategy underscores Tanzania's intent to play cautiously, recover possession effectively, and exploit counterattacks against one of Africa's strongest attacking sides. And that's all we have for you on Idea TV News at 9. But before we go, let's take a look at the recap of the headlines. NIN, CAC numbers to serve as tax identifiers from 2026, says FIRS. Guinea launches TRÉSOR Pay to digitize state fees and boost revenue collection. YANGO expands fellowship program to 4 more African countries. SANI signs 985.9 billion naira 2026 KADUNA budget on education, and education gets biggest share. Away from Africa, Call of Duty co-creator ZAMPELLA dies in California car crash. And in business, South Africa expect 5% drop in wheat imports as local output improves. Lastly, in sports, Tanzania coach aims to contain OSIMHEN as AFCON Group C clash with Nigeria LOOMS. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television. I am Cynthia Bassi. Thank you for your time.